Hello and welcome to this hypnotherapy session for dealing with passive-aggressive behavior in difficult people. This session will help you feel calmer and more inwardly steady when someone communicates indirectly with sarcasm, mixed messages, or that peculiar kind of resistance that says one thing while meaning another. Passive-aggressive behavior can be confusing. It often hides behind politeness, avoidance, or apparent helplessness. And when someone refuses to say clearly what they mean, it can tempt you to work harder, explain more, chase approval, or become frustrated. And the more you try to untangle someone else's indirectness, the more tangled the situation becomes. This session is designed to help your mind become much more selective about what belongs to you and what belongs to them. You can learn to respond without being drawn in. You can stay calm, name what's clear, ignore what's bait, and return again and again to simple, grounded communication. Dealing with passive-aggressive behavior doesn't mean controlling the other person. It just means controlling your own emotional state, influencing the interaction through directness, patience, and boundaries. It's about becoming the person who doesn't need to decode every hidden message and being able to respond to what's actually said and done and needed. And perhaps you may already begin to sense how useful it will be to have an inner position of quiet strength, not being harsh or cold or reactive, just being steady within yourself. That kind of steadiness that says, I can remain respectful without being manipulated. I can be clear without becoming frustrated, and I can let their tone belong to them while my response belongs to me. And now you can just settle in comfortably to a place where you can remain relaxed and undisturbed for a while. And you might just begin to notice yourself becoming a little more comfortable. And now allow your eyes to rest gently on one spot, or if they've already closed, simply let them remain closed. And take a long, slow breath in. Hold it for a moment. And then just as slowly let it out. And with that breath out, you can begin to let go of the outside world for a while. You're here listening to my voice, your body is supported, and your breath becoming a steady rhythm. And because those things are true, you can just allow comfort to begin now. In a moment, I'll ask you to relax the small muscles around the eyes so completely that as long as you choose to keep that relaxation there, those eyelids simply won't want to work. You don't have to force anything. Just soften your forehead. Smooth the tiny muscles around the eyes and let the eyelids become loose, lazy, heavy and calm. Now test them gently only to discover that they relax even more. You can just stop testing and send that relaxation out through the face, the jaw, the neck and shoulders, down the arms into the hands, flowing down the chest, the stomach, the legs, into the feet. A quiet signal passing through the entire body, telling every muscle, let go now. And as the body relaxes, the mind can relax too. In a moment, I'll count down from 5 to 1. And with each number, you can double that relaxation, doubling it physically, mentally, and emotionally, in a way your unconscious mind understands best. 5, drifting down. 4, twice as comfortable, twice as relaxed. 3, the mind beginning to let go of any unnecessary effort. 2, a deeper calm spreading through you. And 1, all the way down into a focused, receptive state. Now just imagine that you're holding a bundle of thoughts in one hand. Thoughts about conversations, reactions, old frustrations. And as you notice that bundle, you can simply place it down beside you for now. You don't have to solve everything consciously. You can just let your deeper mind learn. And as you relax here, resting on a surface beneath you, the sound of my voice and the spaces between the words, just allowing you to drift further and deeper. Just imagine yourself standing at the beginning of a long, quiet hallway. This hallway belongs to a peaceful building within your own mind. The walls are smooth, warm and softly lit. The floor beneath you feels steady and secure. And every sound is muted, softened, distant. At the far end of the hallway is a door, and somehow you know that beyond that door is a place where your inner strength becomes clear, simple, and easy to access. You can begin walking slowly towards that door in your mind. With each step, the body relaxes more. The mind becomes calmer. You become less interested in reacting, more interested in responding. There are 10 steps ahead. 10, moving forwards. 9, deeper into comfort. 8, leaving behind the need to prove, to persuade or to chase. 7. Letting the shoulders soften. 6. The chest open and easy. 5. The stomach calm and settled. 4. The jaw loose. 3. The eyes resting. 2. The whole body peaceful. And 1. Standing now before that door. And on the door you may notice a word, a symbol, a colour, or simply a feeling. It represents your emotional clarity, the ability to know what's yours, what's theirs, and what doesn't need to be carried at all. Open that door now and step through. You enter a quiet courtyard under a clear sky. There may be stone beneath your feet, soft grass, warm sunlight and the cool evening air. Somewhere nearby, water moves gently, steadily, untroubled. And as you stand there, your breathing begins to match that steady flow. In this place, every passive-aggressive comment, every hidden resentment, every silence, every indirect message becomes like a leaf floating on the surface of the water. You can notice it, you can name it, and you can let it pass. Every leaf on the water doesn't require you to jump in. The water remains water and you remain yourself. And now in this quiet courtyard of the mind, you can begin to recognize that passive-aggressive behavior often invites confusion. It starts you guessing, makes you feel like you need to be responsible for someone else's unspoken feelings. And from this moment forward, your unconscious mind can begin to separate the invitation from the response. Someone may sigh, deny, joke sharply or agree, while quietly resisting. And you can notice that this is their communication style in that moment. But it doesn't have to become your emotional draw. You can stay steady, respond to what's clear, and let the unclear things remain unclear until the other person chooses clarity. And that's a powerful shift. And in the past, perhaps you felt pulled into over-explaining, asking what's wrong again and again, smoothing things over or feeling guilty without knowing why. And now, something deeper within you can decide. I don't have to enter the maze. There is a simple path. There's always a simple path. A person says, fine, in a tone that's obviously not fine. And instead of chasing the tone, your mind can remain calm and say inwardly, I will respond to the word unless they choose to speak more clearly. A person says, no, it doesn't matter, while acting as if it does. And you can remain grounded enough to allow adults to own their own meaning. A person makes a sarcastic remark, and instead of absorbing the sting, you can notice the method, pause, and return to the point. That pause becomes your power, a steady breath becomes your boundary, and a calm look becomes your center. And you might remember a time when someone tried to hand you a package that didn't belong to you. Perhaps a bag, a coat, something they assumed you would carry. And if it wasn't yours, you could simply decline to take it. You didn't have to hate the person, you didn't have to throw it back. You simply didn't take possession. Passive-aggressive emotion is just like that package. Hidden resentment wrapped in a joke, demand wrapped in helplessness, criticism wrapped in concern. And from now on, you can notice the package without accepting delivery. And you can allow your face to remain relaxed. Allow your voice to become slower, your words to become fewer, clearer, stronger. There's no need to match indirectness with indirectness. You don't need to become aggressive in order to stop being affected. There's no need to win the hidden game. Because the person who refuses to play changes the game completely. And perhaps you can imagine now a future situation with someone who's behaved in a passive-aggressive way before. Watch the scene from a comfortable distance, as though it's appearing on a screen. See yourself there. Notice the way you're standing, your breathing, the relaxed intelligence in your eyes. That person says or does something indirect, and the you on the screen pauses, just pauses, not frozen, not intimidated, just choosing. And in that pause, your unconscious mind activates 3 natural resources: calm, clarity, and boundary. Calm in the body, clarity in the mind, and boundary in the voice. And now watch yourself responding in a way that's simple and clean. Perhaps you say, I'm happy to talk to you about this directly. Or perhaps, I'll take your words at face value. Or perhaps you say nothing at all, because silence can be dignified when it comes from choice rather than fear. And just notice how powerful that is. Not dramatic, not tense, just clear. And perhaps that other person changes immediately, or perhaps they don't. It doesn't matter. Your success is not measured by whether they become different in that instant. Your success is measured by whether you remain yourself. You remain yourself when someone hints, when someone sulks, when someone uses sarcasm. You can remain yourself when someone tries to make you responsible for emotions they've not clearly expressed. And as you remain yourself, you become much harder to manipulate and much easier to respect. And when passive-aggressive behavior appears, your deeper mind can sort it automatically. Useful information, clear requests, honest conversation, all those can enter. But guilt that doesn't belong to you, confusion that's been manufactured, emotional hooks and sarcastic bait can remain outside. And now imagine stepping into that future scene yourself, no longer watching from the outside, but experiencing it through your own eyes. Feel your feet on the ground, the air around you. Hear your own voice, lower, slower, clearer. And you can let that person behave as they behave and feel yourself staying calm. And you can say within, I can handle this directly. Again, I can handle this directly. And once more, I can handle this directly. And your unconscious mind can begin to rehearse this in many different settings. At work, at home, with family. In passing comments and in those little moments where old behaviors used to pull you in. And in each of those moments you can notice the first signal in your body. Maybe a tightening in the chest, a heat in the face, a pressure to explain, a temptation to fix. And that old signal now becomes a new cue. The moment you notice it, you breathe, you pause, and you choose. And the moment you choose, you're free. Free to ask a clear question, to set a new boundary, to leave silence alone. Free to say, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Let me know when you're ready to discuss it directly. I'll give you some time. Free to say nothing at all and continue with your day. And because your words become clearer, your energy becomes cleaner. You stop leaking effort into guessing, rehearsing arguments that never needed to happen. You stop carrying emotional packages with someone else's name on them. And your unconscious mind can install a simple pattern. Notice, breathe, pause, clarify and choose. You can notice the behavior without absorbing it. And then just breathe, pausing long enough to stay free. You can clarify what needs clarifying and choose a response that respects you. And this pattern can become automatic in the best possible way, like learning to drive or to type. At first, the conscious mind may notice the steps, then more and more the unconscious mind handles them for you. And you may be surprised to find yourself calmer than expected. Your voice staying steady. And you realize later that something which once disturbed you simply passed by. And that will feel so good. There's a particular confidence that grows when you no longer need difficult people to become easy before you can feel peaceful. You can feel peaceful first. You can feel clear, steady, and from that steadiness, everything becomes simpler. And now it's time to bring this session to a close. In a few moments, I'll count from 1 to 5, and with each number, you can begin returning to ordinary waking awareness, bringing with you only what's useful, healthy, and strong. 1. Beginning to return now, bringing calmness into the body. 2. Energy gently rising through the arms and legs. 3. Becoming aware of the room around you, the sounds near and far, the air on your skin. 4. Feeling clearer, steadier, more awake, as if the mind has reorganized something important in a quiet and useful way. And 5. Eyes open when you're ready, wide awake, refreshed, grounded, and present. And as you return, you can bring with you the simple truth that you can deal with indirect behavior directly, meeting confusion with clarity, pressure with pause, and emotional games with grounded self-respect. And from now on, whether you notice passive-aggressive behavior, whether in tone, look, delay, or hidden criticism, you may naturally feel the urge to take one slow breath before responding. And that breath will remind you to notice, to breathe, to pause, to clarify, and then to choose. And the more often this happens, the more automatic it becomes. You may even find yourself feeling quietly pleased that you recognize the old pattern, because recognizing it means you're already outside it. Thank you for joining me on this session today and for taking this time to strengthen your calm, clarity, and ability to deal with difficult people in a healthier and more self-respecting way. And each time you use this session, these patterns can deepen and become more natural. You can continue noticing the small improvements that show real change is happening. And until next time, goodbye and good mental health.